Good morning and happy Wellness Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our live question and answer session with Rose Natural Wellness. My name is Adelaide and I am a certified nutrition and wellness consultant, and I specialize in helping women with the education and personalized guidance surrounding women's nutrition and holistic well-being. So I'm really excited to be here again today. This week, I am actually tuning in from Mississippi. So, I am out in Mississippi, and one thing that I have really noticed lately is that there is a limited access to healthy foods in this area across the state of Mississippi. So, this is something that is really challenging for a lot of people. I actually had the amazing opportunity to begin a collaboration partnership with the new nonprofit called Healthy Mississippi Futures. And when I met with their founder, Rhonda, one thing that she really pointed out to me was that Mississippi really struggles with access to good, healthy food options, as well as education and understanding around what healthy food looks like and how to apply that to their lifestyle. Mississippi is also, unfortunately, number one in obesity rates across the US. And Mississippi is also one of the most impoverished or less advantaged types of areas in the US. So it's really a lot of challenges that Mississippians face when it comes to healthy eating. So what I really wanted to focus in on this week is answering some questions and providing some different tips and strategies that Mississippians can use to help better improve the health of their meals and get access to healthy meal and ingredient options. And this is certainly not limited just to Mississippi. There are many other communities across the US that face these problems with high obesity rates, limited income or resources, maybe impoverished areas that are rural that have less access to various different healthy food options. There is a lot of different communities that face these very same struggles. So this is not necessarily limited to Mississippi, but being that I am in Mississippi this week, spending time with family, it's something that I find to be very close to my heart. And I really want to address that to help as many people as possible to get access to the kinds of healthy food options and resources that they need to make a difference in their lives. So let's kind of discuss a little bit more specifically what this looks like. If you are in a community, what to look out for to kind of identify these things, or maybe if you're somebody that is not in one of these sorts of communities but has family or friends that maybe these are going to be some strategies to help us kind of identify what struggles we're facing. So when it comes to having limited access, we can talk about these two titles, which we call food deserts and food swamps. So, food deserts are areas with limited options to healthy grocery stores and other healthy food options. Food swamps kind of refers to the idea that there's maybe a lot of different food options, but they're only unhealthy options, and the healthy options are very, very, very limited. So when we think of something like food swamps, we can think of a place where you may see a McDonald's and a Subway and a Chick-fil-A and all these other fast food restaurants, but you don't see a grocery store anywhere nearby. There's certainly not a Whole Foods or a salad bar. It's very, very limited, and there are a lot of unhealthy options, but very limited in terms of healthy options. And then as far as food deserts, this would be something where there's just not grocery stores or other healthy food options that are located within a certain amount of space. So it's a lot harder to access those food options. So, like I mentioned, I have started a collaboration with the nonprofit organization Healthy Mississippi Futures. And their entire mission is centered around specifically helping people who live in Mississippi who have low income, maybe no insurance, or very limited resources to have access to healthy food options, gym memberships, to education and consultations for nutrition and wellness. And I think that this is an incredible mission. It's something that I'm really proud to be a part of and worked together with the Healthy Mississippi Futures organization and the Mississippi community overall, because I think it is so important for people to understand and have access to healthy food and wellness options. So this is really something that I'm so proud to be a part of, and I'm really excited to continue fostering this collaboration and partnership so we can really make a true difference within the state of Mississippi to help people with their health and wellness journey. So some of the biggest challenges that Rhonda and I, again, Rhonda is the founder of Healthy Mississippi Futures. Some of the biggest challenges that we discussed that Mississippians face is one, distance and transportation. So many communities may have very limited access to grocery stores, and the nearest grocery store, even Walmart or Kroger, maybe 30, 60, 90 minutes away by car. It's really, really difficult to get access to your healthy food options when you have to drive for over an hour to get there. So that's a big challenge. And if you don't have a car or some other form of transportation, it's going to be a really big problem. Now, also, the cost of healthy foods often is perceived to be a lot more expensive than other food options. And this is somewhat of a myth that we can kind of address as well. Healthy food options don't necessarily have to be more costly. However, there are a lot of, if you walk into a Sprouts or a Whole Foods, a lot of those products are going to be significantly more expensive. Organic produce is going to be more expensive than its non-organic counterpart. So there is some truth to that notion that healthy foods may be kind of more expensive than other processed options. The other thing too is protein, things like steak, things like your chicken and other lean meats, especially fish and seafood, are typically much more expensive than other nonprofit options. If you're looking at the cost of a salmon fillet versus a can of Spam, I mean, the can of Spam is probably going to be less expensive. So we have some cost factors that create some challenges there as well. The other thing too is if you do have access to a grocery store or even maybe a Dollar General or a Family Dollar, the access to different variety is going to be extremely limited. I have certainly spent time in communities in Mississippi, Tennessee, and other areas that the only store that's close by within 30 to 60 minutes is a Dollar General. And Dollar General typically does not stock any fresh produce. And if it does, it's very, very limited. You also may have trouble finding some whole grains and other options like that. So that's another big challenge for a lot of people when they are going to these stores that they do have access to, is the variety is very, very, very limited. There's also a lot of pressure from marketing and advertising agencies when it comes to food. Now, I could get into a whole rabbit hole on what the marketing agencies and the food marketing giants do to kind of manipulate people into choosing less healthy food options, but we'll save that topic for another time. The biggest thing that we need to note here is that processed foods and unhealthier food options have heavy advertising, and they're often placed at eye level in the stores so that the first thing that you see and are more inclined to grab are those less healthy food options. So be really aware that when you are in the grocery store, take a look at the shelves that are higher and lower than your eye level, because you may be able to find healthier options along that path. All right, so with that, we've kind of talked about some of the big challenges. Now, I really want to discuss some strategies for accessing healthy foods, because we really have a lot of main challenges and odds stacked against these rural communities that don't have as much access. So what can we do to still incorporate some healthy foods when we have so much pressure from advertising, so much limited access to different varieties of healthy food options or even fresh produce? What can we do? So First, we got to utilize our resources to the best of our ability and make the most of what we have nearby. So, gas stations and small stores are typically what most people will have the easiest access to. So, when we are in gas stations or the Dollar General or other small stores, try to really look for non perishable items that are going to be healthier. So, for example, nuts and seeds without added sugar or salt. Ideally, we want to find like raw almonds, raw cashews, things like that. Sometimes that's really challenging to find. So even a lightly salted variety may be a good option in that case, but trying to find some that have as little added sugar or salt as possible. There are some varieties that have other seasonings, like a sunflower seeds with dill, or something like that. Those may be a good option if it has primarily herbs rather than added sugar or salt. So just check the label and see what kinds of additives and other ingredients are in that product. But definitely look for those nuts and seeds, ideally without added sugar or salt. You can also look for canned beans, canned veggies. These are a great option. We really want to make sure we're looking ideally for canned options that have low sodium and ideally a non-BPA lining. BPA is a forever chemical that typically is used to seal different cans or plastic products. So we ideally would like to find a non-BPA can, but if that's not possible, any low sodium canned beans or veggies are going to be really helpful, and fruit as well would be good. When it comes to looking for fruits that are canned, really be sure to aim to get canned varieties that have as little added sugar or high fructose corn syrup as possible. A lot of those come with a lot of preservatives, high fructose corn syrup, and that's really unhealthy. It's still going to be healthier to incorporate the fruit, even if it is having some of those additional preservatives and sugars, than to not incorporate it. But in the perfect world, we really want to aim to limit that sugar, the added salt, the added preservatives, all of those kind of junky things as much as possible, so we can really reap the health benefits of those canned food options. If you have access to it, aim to get fresh fruit options. Bananas and apples and even oranges are typically available at different gas stations and sometimes at different Dollar Generals or other small stores. So really try to look for those fresh fruit options, and you may be able to even freeze some of those in your freezer at home to allow them to stay fresher longer. There's also a lot of great YouTube shorts or YouTube videos that go over some DIY strategies that you can use to make your fresh produce last longer. So this is really, really key. And I really recommend trying to utilize those options so that we can still take advantage of using fresh fruit as an option. The other great thing that we can find typically at gas stations and small stores is going to be things like yogurts or cheese sticks. These are really great options to incorporate. We again just want to make sure when it comes to the yogurt that it's not super high in sugar and it's more high in fresh fruits and actual yogurt rather than sugar. So Greek yogurt is typically a really great option, but always check the label to see how much sugar and preservatives are in that particular product. And then cheese sticks are a really great option. Mozzarella cheese sticks, Colby Jack, American cheese, whatever you can find that is just a cheese stick variety. Typically, those are great options. They have healthy fats and healthy protein that you can utilize. Some really great shelf-stable options that you can keep on hand are going to be things like brown rice, oats, canned salmon or tuna, whole grain pasta, and different nut butters like peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, whatever you would prefer and have access to. Those are great healthy options because they stay on your shelf for a long time without spoiling, and you can utilize those ingredients to be very versatile in different sorts of meals. So really recommend keeping those on hand. Now, if you do plan to travel a far distance to go to a grocery store, really plan for bulk shopping if possible. Buy your staples in bulk. So your beans, your frozen veggies, your whole grains, frozen fruit, you can get those in large quantities to have on hand at home so that you can make sure to have those for different varieties of meal options and to have that stocked up so you don't have to go to the grocery store for hopefully another couple of weeks. It may be really worth it to invest in a big freezer or a cooler, big freezer to have at home to store some of your other ingredients that you're buying in bulk, and then a cooler to have in the car. That way, if you're driving maybe an hour and a half over to Walmart, if you keep a cooler in your car, you can put all of your frozen fruits, veggies, meats into that cooler to make sure that it stays so that it doesn't spoil within that journey. You can also batch cook and freeze different meals for later. So that's something that we really teach on in one of our classes is the concept of batch cooking, where you cook a bunch of different ingredients so you have those ready to go and either combine those into different meals or you create the full complete meals at that time and then you save them in the freezer for later on. We used to do this a lot growing up. Where we would make different roasts or soups and freeze them in the freezer so that we would have those for several weeks or even sometimes up to a couple months after the fact. And then you can take it out, unthaw it, and it's just as good as when you first cooked it. So definitely recommend doing a batch cooking session and making a lot of different meals so that you have those ready to go and then utilizing that freezer to keep things fresh. Now, some other community resources that are often available in communities that have limited access to grocery stores and healthy food options are things like food pantries. These often have fresh produce that's available on their delivery days. So if you are in a community that really has limited access to fresh produce, a food pantry is a great option. Farmers markets are another great option. Those are typically available throughout different communities where all the farmers come together and sell their fresh produce. This is a great way to get some good healthy options. And sometimes they do accept EBT or SNAP benefits, and they often will have other savings sorts of programs to help you out. There's other options like local co-ops or church groups. These are available typically to help with group buying for better prices, but they do allow the opportunity for communities to get access to some of these healthy food options. So really great options. You could also look at doing a swap or a trade or kind of a purchase agreement with maybe some neighbors that have a garden or a farm so that you can get access to those healthy options that are closer to you. And I also recommend, making a garden. Even if you have a smaller home, there's a lot of herbs and veggies and even fruits that you can grow just in your windowsill or outside in a garden. So really great option. And a lot of those herbs and veggies, getting started with growing those is very simple. So really try to incorporate that if possible. Some communities also have shared plots in their neighborhood where they have community gardens. So you could look into that and see if that's an option in your community as well. Now, realistically, when it comes to all of this, we really want to focus on the fact that the access is going to be the most difficult thing, but we also can do a lot in terms of our mindset and our actual daily lifestyle or weekly lifestyle to help make our lives a little bit easier. So what I mean by that is we want to focus on what we can access versus what we cannot access. So utilizing the resources that we have available in our immediate surroundings and community to figure out what is possible and what we can utilize. So that's going to help us then be able to understand what kinds of meals and different things that we will be able to create and access. So use sort of a meal plan or a meal template to help you out. This is going to really come down to aiming for a protein, ideally a lean, high quality protein, plus a vegetable and a whole grain. and then using that framework to incorporate flexible ingredients into that. So one example could be a steak with broccoli and brown rice. Excellent option. You may do shrimp with grits and let's see, maybe bell peppers. That could be a great option. So just finding some different ideas to be able to easily mix and match those ingredients to make meal planning a bit easier. And then, as we mentioned, batch cooking with your fresh ingredients, your canned ingredients, your frozen ingredients, whatever you have on hand. That's going to be an excellent way to make sure that you have healthy meals on hand, so that if you have to wait couple weeks to be able to go to the next grocery store, you still have healthy options in your fridge or freezer that you can utilize. And be creative with seasonings and spices. This is probably the most underrated or understated sort of piece of advice that I could really emphasize and recommend to you all. Seasonings and spices completely change the game in terms of having different meals. You could utilize the same ingredients but use different spices and herbs and have a completely different meal. So really get creative and use that to change simple meals into something that's more enjoyable and more creative. And the other thing that's great about that as well is spices can come in bulk options or even just the little containers, but they last for such a long time and are very inexpensive for the most part. So it's a really great option to just use some of your main staples and then change out the different herbs and spices to give a fresh spin on your meals that you've gotten used to. And that way you can keep it fresh, exciting, and delicious. So again, I want to really shout out the nonprofit organization Healthy Mississippi Futures. This is a brand new nonprofit that has been designed and founded specifically to help Mississippians with getting access to healthy resources. And this includes things like fresh produce and healthy food options, maybe an access to a gym membership or other sort of healthy activity. This can include access to education and consultation, which I specialize in. This may be access to other nutrition and wellness professionals, including doctors, dietitians, things like that. So their whole mission and goal with Healthy Mississippi Futures is to allow people in Mississippi who have limited access and limited resources to get access to the education, information, guidance, and resources that they specifically need in order to improve their lifestyle and live a healthy life, specifically to help decrease the rates of obesity in Mississippi. So I think that their mission is absolutely incredible, and I'm so proud to be a partner in this process, and I'm excited to help contribute my services and expertise to provide some education, some resources, and personalized guidance for Mississippians that are taking advantage of this very vital service. So if you or someone you know needs help and lives in Mississippi, please look ahead to reach out to Healthy Mississippi Futures and see if they would be a good fit to help you with your needs, because they are really committed to helping as many people as possible so we can really help the entire Mississippi community to elevate our health, reduce the rates of obesity, and live healthier, longer, and happier lives. So before we wrap up today, I really want to give you all the opportunity to share your favorite tips about healthy eating. Are you somebody that maybe has limited access to your healthy food resources in your community? And what have you found to be helpful and effective in addressing those challenges? What are some tips that you have that maybe I didn't mention? I would love to hear your thoughts and see what other ideas you have to help our community become healthier. Now, if you enjoy watching our Q&A, Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you will always be notified of our weekly Q&A session. It is 11 a.m. Eastern Time every single Wednesday, and we talk about a different topic each time and save some time to, of course, answer your questions and really address different things that come to mind for you so that we can help you become healthier and be able to immediately apply these healthy eating tips and lifestyle recommendations to your unique lifestyle right away. You can also connect with us for more information and continued personalized support. Every Friday, we post a brand new article on our website, which may be a recipe, it may be a nutrition topic. Sometimes we post featured partners that we work with. We have a wide variety of different topics that we cover, but every Friday we have new articles. So head over to rosenaturalwellness.com if you would like to check those out. And we do post regular videos and images on our Facebook and Instagram, so you're certainly welcome to connect with us there. But finally, if you are specifically looking for personalized support and you are ready to get started with improving and changing your life through healthy nutrition and lifestyle wellness guidance, please consider working with us. We service the majority of the United States, and we would love to help you with your journey. We always focus on your specific needs and lifestyle so that we can create a plan that is specific to you, that will help elevate your health in a way that feels authentic to you and is sustainable for the long run. So if that's something that you are interested in, please consider scheduling a discovery call with Rose Natural Wellness. You can access that at rosenaturalwellness.com/discovery-call. We would absolutely love to work with you. We also have this link in the description and in the bio on our YouTube page as well. So thank you so much for joining us on this live Q&A this week. We're so happy to be tuning in from Mississippi and sharing some really, really key tips to help you all. And again, if you have other ideas of things you would like to cover, other tips, other questions, please feel free to put that in the chat or in the comments section below, and we would be happy to address that on an upcoming weekly live session. Take care and have a healthy and happy day.